So, you're fixing to pack up all the bags. You're fixing to stuff all of those boxes and buy all of those boxes, and you may be walking around your house right now looking at all of those closets, thinking to yourself like, damn, it's about time for us to start packing up all of this shit because it's time for a potential hike to the great state. We're talking about the prairie state. We're talking about the land of Lincoln here. We're talking about the state of Illinois. And right now, you're probably in New York, New York. You're probably in Los Angeles, California. Probably down south a little bit, down there in the sunshine state of Florida, down there in Miami. And boy, woo, you better enjoy that weather while you can because it get cold up here. It's the Midwest, baby. You're down there in Dallas, Texas. You may be in state right now in Peoria or Springfield, Illinois. Wherever you're at on this map inside of this great nation, you're watching this video right here, right now, all because you're thinking about a potential move to the city of Joliet. I want to know how I made it on your short list when we do talk on the phone, but right now you're thinking about moving to Joliet, Illinois. And guys, I gotta let you know, I need you to lock in with me right now. I need you to lock in with me fast. I need you to stop those Google searches, stop the Chat GPT searches, stop all the YouTube searches. I made a hardcore list of everything you need to know about the cost of living right here in the great city of Joliet, Illinois. Without further ado, my name, Gregory Amos, Remax Ultimate Professionals. And guys, you're going to want to stick around. If this is your first time visiting my channel, first things first, welcome. Again, you're going to want to stick around. I try to make a video every single week of all things living, eating, breathing, playing, a little bit of lifestyle, real estate tips too as well, right here in the great city of Joliet, Illinois. And guys, let me tell you this, I get tons of calls, tons of emails, tons of text messages from individuals all over this great world that are actually planning to move right here in Joliet, Illinois. So guys, let's make sure we keep that going. I love it. Let's make sure we keep it going again and again and again. I can't wait to have a quick dialogue with you over this great city and over some of your goals that you have when you're actually planning to move right here to the area, whether it's Joliet, whether it's Plainfield, whether it's Shorewood. I'm the guy you want. I'm the guy ready to help you out. So without further ado, I'm gonna get right into this list of the cost of living right here in Joliet, Illinois. Let's go! So, as we get things started, let's rip off the band-aid. Once you're locked in with me, ain't no switching up. Before I actually talk about the cost of living right here in Joliet, Illinois, I want to take you 30,000 feet up and get you a macro view of what it's like, the cost of living in the big city of Chicago. First things first, as you guys know, Chicago is the third biggest city inside of our nation, right behind New York, New York, and Los Angeles, California. The other thing you're going to notice is that Chicago, in this big metropolitan area, it's actually more affordable to live compared to other big cities inside of our nation. So if you're actually moving from the coast or moving from an expensive big city in a metropolitan area, Chicago on average is about 30 to actually 40% less expensive to live compared to bigger metropolitan areas inside of our nation. So from the jump, if you're actually able to actually capture that same income, that same salary, once you're sitting down doing your budget line item by line item, you're going to notice more and more savings that you can then reallocate and earmark towards saving for the future, big purchases like a home, or even enjoying a little bit more lifestyle and some of that good Chicago food once you're actually inside the area. So that's a win for you. So as we transition from the macro down to the micro and we focus and hone in on Joliet, Illinois specifically, we'll talk about some of the big ticket items when we talk about the cost of living here in Joliet, whether it's housing costs, whether it's utilities and other expenses, transportation, healthcare expenses, and things along those lines. Touching on housing costs first, exactly what you're watching this video for. The average home value selling price for a home as of recent history is about $270,000, which is very affordable when we think about living in Chicago, living in Frankfurt, living in a Hinsdale, or even a Naperville. Now, Naperville or Frankfurt or Hinsdale are seen as more affluent areas in which people, choose to live in when we think about the incomes that these individuals generate. But that doesn't go to show that Joliet definitely offers affluent neighborhoods and also affluent homes in terms of the product that the real estate market here definitely offers. The real estate market here in Joliet is very diverse when we think about the type of homes and products that are actually on the market. So even though the average home value here in Joliet is around $270,000, we do have specific price points, in the 3s, in the 4s, in the 5s, in the 6, taking up to that $1 million price point that are actually available in Joliet, Illinois. So again, a lot of individuals definitely migrate from these bigger, more expensive cities to get more bang for their buck, a little bit more room too as well, and choosing Joliet as a great place to live. Touching on groceries here in Joliet, Illinois. First, I want to talk about some of the local grocers. Of course, you got the Walmart, you have the Target, you got the Aldi's, which is one of the most popular ones here inside the area. You have the Jewel Osco, and also you have Tony's Market as well, as well as other options too as well. But on average, you can expect to spend about $300 to $400, maybe $500 a month, if not a little bit more, depending on how big of your family is and how much food that you actually consume a month here in Joliet, Illinois. The good thing about Joliet, Illinois, the cost of groceries is about 10 to 15% less than the actual national average. So you can definitely see yourself saving some money if you're coming from a city where grocery costs is a big part of your budget, but also a little bit more expensive too as well. Transportation. When we talk about transportation here in Joliet, Illinois, Joliet does have access to a local train system like the Metro, and also a local bus system in terms of the PACE bus system. I'll have to say that the Metro and the PACE bus system really isn't going to get you where you need to go inside the city of Joliet. So you're going to need a car too, as well, as Joliet isn't that much of a walkable city in which you can get to A to B in a good amount of time. So I'll say a car is definitely necessary when you're actually living here in Joliet. The average gas price here in Joliet is about $3.40 right now. It's a little bit lower, around at $3.20 for unleaded gas per gallon. But don't be surprised, again, depending on the time of the year, depending on who's in office, depending on what's going on inside the world, for that $3.40 to tick up to $3.50. Those 4s and hell, sometimes the mid 4s pushing up to $5 a gallon. But again, on average, the gas price here in Joliet is about $3.40. Touching on healthcare and insurance costs, I have to mention that you'll grow very familiar with either Silver Cross Hospital or St. Joseph Medical Center, where you really receive a lot of your services if the attention you need calls for great doctors. Okay, on average, when we talk about insurance, co-pays, things along those lines, it's going to run you on average about $500 per month for those services and having access to that medical attention. As we move forward and talk about some of the health and wellness options here in Joliet, Joliet is home to a lot of local gyms, commercial gyms, and also small businesses. When we talk about CrossFit, yoga, and things along those lines, you have a lot of options when we talk about the fitness spectrum and what's available to keep your health and wellness intact. On average, depending on if you're going to a commercial gym or one of the local gyms, it's going to range anywhere between $20 to $50 a month, depending on if you like to go to those classes, if you want specialized attention in terms of coaching, training. You can see those costs rise a little bit higher, but on average, with some of the big commercial brands, anywhere between $20 and $50 a month is what you can expect in terms of health and wellness coming out of your budget from a line item sense. Transition a little bit and start to factor in some of those school costs, especially if you have a family and then you have kids or children. One thing that you will appreciate about living here in Joliet, Illinois, is that you have access to public schools, great public schools, and also great private school options too as well. Touching on public schools first, whether your kids in District 86 or the Joliet Township High School, of course, it's a public school, those are paid for through the assessed value of the real estate and real estate taxes. Now, there are other fees that you can definitely expect, whether your kids wants to join any type of extracurricular activities, whether it's programs offered through the school, sports, and also things along those lines as well to come at a separate charge. When When we talk about private schools, let's talk about that K through 8 and also some preschool options. You can definitely expect to pay on a year-to-year basis anywhere between $4,000 to $8,000 a year for your kid to actually attend some of those private school options. When we talk about high school, when we talk about the Joliet Catholic, when we talk about Providence, which is actually located on the east side, near the east side of Joliet, towards New Lenox, inside of New Lenox actually, those schools actually range from, I'll say, $14,000 to about $18,000 depending on the type of school, if they raise fees. But as of 2025, around $14,000, $18,000 a year to be spent on their private education for high schools such as Providence and the Joliet Catholic Academy. Wrapping up a little bit around the cost of living here in Joliet, we're going to talk about some of the entertainment options here in Joliet. If you're going out there for a nice beer, a nice drink, you can definitely expect to pay anywhere between $8 to $12 depending on if it's just you, maybe a little bit more if you have a guest with you. Great entertainment options, whether you want to go see a movie, you want to go down to the Rialto, or you want to go down to the Forge and experience some nightlife. Those tickets range anywhere between, let's say, $15 to maybe $30, $35 to have access to some of the entertainment options here in Joliet. I can't even begin to mention, the wide range of options you do have, but just to give you a brief viewpoint of what you can have in terms of entertainment: the movie theater, you have the Forge, the Rialto, just to name a few. So, as we continue our talk and our chat over the cost of living here in Joliet, one thing that supports that cost of living here in Joliet, being that it's very affordable, is just the local economy here in Joliet. As the economy here in Joliet is very, very strong, you will notice that a lot of the residents here in Joliet, Illinois, are very blue collar, very hard working individuals, even though we do have a mixture of white collar employment and also jobs here in Joliet too as well. If you're looking for a lot of white collar employment, you definitely have to head up towards the city of Chicago, but Joliet definitely offers that too as well. I'll say at the foundation of our economy, again, it's a lot of manufacturing, very industrial, very blue collar, but also a lot of healthcare workers too are thrown inside that mix that actually boosts up in that Joliet depends on in terms of the local economy here in Joliet. So we're talking about warehouses such as Amazon having real estate here, Caterpillar and Right Hit, all having and being big employers here in the city of Joliet. And awesome being able to share with you the cost of living right here in Joliet, Illinois. You've been locked in with me. You stayed the entire video. And I want to let you guys know, if you guys have any questions, any comments, or any concerns about your potential move and relocation to the city of Joliet, feel more than welcome to always reach out to me. My contact information is below, and I'm looking forward to having that conversation with you. And again, guys, let's try to keep this going. And until next week for the next video, I want you guys to take care. Talk to you soon.